Hello, good people. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are. Greetings, Richard here. Greetings from Nairobi. We're back to our channel, Serve Your Time. Actually, today's topic is inspired by an experience I had. If I'm being extremely honest with you, I was in the lavatory, for lack of better words, and I think as I went to wash my hands off the sink, I noticed there was this bee that kept moving around, up and down the window, the toilet window actually, but it was just struggling and making noise. So picture this this kind of window, right? But when you look at this window, assuming right now it's a bit dark outside, it's at night, but if it was in the day, you would have seen different vibe. So picture if you've seen a bee. So this window in the day, it would be very bright. So you would be able to see anyway with your human eye the outside, right? Because it's transparent. So I looked at this bee, and I actually stood there and I observed this bee. This bee kept doing everything, bzz, bzz, like up and down. So there was like an opening in the sides. If you've seen toilet, like windows, there's a way they're sort of like, some of them are like glassed, translucent in a sense, if I would call it, like, so you it's like you're seeing outside, but not necessarily seeing outside, Then that is now with the naked eye. So this bee kept on. I think to the bee, what I observed was, it's like the bee was it was seeing light outside. So it's like it was, to the bee, I'm outside, I'm supposed to, supposed to go. So it kept hitting the window, back and forth, but also going down all the way to like here, like the beginning of the window, climbing up. And I'm sitting here looking at this bee. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So it kept on going at the edge, right? Like right after, like if it was to do like a slight right turn, there was actually, that part of the window was open, like open window, fresh air, so it would fly out. But for some reason, it kept on climbing bzzz, all the way, like on this translucent window, and then it will get up because it's a glass. Then it gets tired, I think, it just falls down, So I'm just looking at this bee and I'm thinking, okay, this chap is likely to do these games dusk to dawn. Maybe we close office because this was around 6 a.m. and maybe perhaps in the day, if everyone else had come to the office, someone would have spotted it, or but I'm like, so what if no one sees it, or maybe it had gotten like this, like 6 p.m. after everyone is gone, or no one has come in to clean or anything. So this guy is likely to just actually, it will like climb itself to death, right? And maybe just get tired and drop off. Because I'm like, okay. So what I did is I tried to get I tried to find what I could find within within the lavatory. I got like a cleaning air freshener, like in a kind of like bottle, put it next to it. I put like another bottle, like this happy and all these things, stuff that you'd find like in a window in a washroom, on top of So my thinking was, okay, maybe let me give this bee some sense of direction. Perhaps if it climbs off or along these things that I've put somehow, and then, because at the top of it all, that was the the open space. Or if it had opted not to take, because now I was trying to hop it alongside its chosen path. But I'm like, or if it decides to use now the other, if it by somehow it comes to and then takes the opposite side, then maybe there it could jump off. But nothing was happening. This bee wasn't getting any of this. This bee somehow kept on doing the exact same thing, and in the end I really saw that this bee suddenly it's either going to to climb up, it was losing so much energy, because it's probably running out of water or food. I don't know, bees, I don't know if like lions, for example, that maybe if they run out of food, maybe it can die, because I think bees don't have, I don't know how, I actually don't know the lifespan of bees, but I think it's one of those not so long ones. So anyway, what I did was I grabbed like a brush, I just sort of like got it to close to the bee. Then once it climbed on the brush, pushed a little bit towards the exit, and then it flew away. But the moral of the story for me was that actually that explains the topic for today's channel, which is I think there's always a possibility in every impossibility, and there's always a positivity in every negativity, So ideally, if you come to think about it, this bee somehow kept believing, kept pushing, because according to the bee, the only thing that is motivating it is it's seeing light, but it's seeing light from a translucent sort of like glass. It's believing that it will get that sight. Obviously, it was purely belief anyway. But the possibility, I think, aspect from where I stood was, I happened to be there, and I happened to have maybe a better sense of the environment around it, and then I gave it a hand, right? But assuming that this bee did not believe in the possibility of actually going out, perhaps, and maybe gave up or stopped trying, then the possibility that is me now giving it a push might not have happened at the end of the day. Perhaps maybe it would have coiled itself maybe to a toilet, maybe gets flushed away. Who knows? Then the negativity vis-a-vis positivity in this case for me was the fact that despite the challenges, despite the failure, the continuous banging on that glass, and continuously going up and getting nowhere and just falling down, that negativity in itself did not stop the beam. And the positivity out of that was now me, who was more or better aware of its environs, being able to see and sense the challenge and actually act on that. And the positive for me, for the bee now, was me taking note of that and coming out, to be that support system to help it, jump over and navigate this challenge. So, it's quite it was quite a masterclass for me. And when I thought about it and tried to think about it in the context of life as we know it, it could be your business journey as an entrepreneur, as a consultant, or as an employee, as a general business owner, anything that you're doing, sometimes we keep knocking on a translucent glass, believing almost blindly that, that is the way. Because we are seeing light, we are 100% certain from where we stand that this is the way. But we are continuing to hit a wall, a glass wall, right? And in this case, the bee didn't have the knowledge of, or the awareness of the environment around it to the extent that it would be able to discern the nature of the glass at the time, the stumbling block, that maybe the ability to know that this glass actually cannot take me anywhere. I need to look for alternatives, right? And sometimes I think, like in life and in business and generally in life, actually, we have situations really where we keep hitting on the wrong doors, we keep hitting a translucent glass, but believing and hoping that this is the way, But and I think for me that speaks into belief, consistency, resistance, and sometimes it would be really us pushing something that we don't know how it's gonna end. We don't know. Maybe we just don't have the knowledge, right? Obviously, that would require us to learn. But in a typical scenario where we don't know, and maybe we don't have the right environment to learn, the right path, if we stay hanging there, I think, based on this this Bee Masterclass experience of mine, and this was really like a couple of weeks ago, actually, and of course, this was I didn't post this thing earlier because I need to get into the studio setup and things like that. Of course, if you watched the earlier video, you would know that now you'd see why not speaking, having to wait to be in one place has its own negative impacts to the content and the production, as it were. So anyway, I got thinking that, you know what, I think that if we keep believing, if we keep pushing, if we keep going for that thing that it is, that goal, that business, whatever it is, disregarding any negativity, right? Because you hit a wall, you fall down, you keep going up, going back up. I think that even in the worst case of scenarios, that is now as you not having the knowledge, the right skills, the right, you're probably going to the wrong door. You being there, pushing, climbing up, believing and, fighting. Somehow, perhaps there will be a possibility through, another person who has knowledge. For example, this could be if you're a startup, right? If you're a small business, if you're just at the early stages of your business, right? Then maybe your challenge could be lack of capital, for example. And that lack of capital in itself is a barrier for you to break even, right? And grow a business. Now, you hitting that translucent glass, it would mean, if despite you not, making the margins that you desire to make as profitability ways, you don't close off shop. You keep fighting, you keep pushing, you keep believing. Then at some point in your journey, an investor, an angel will definitely pop up, most likely, and maybe they can handhold you and take care of your financial struggles, so that now you can grow your business, right? If you're a student, you're trying to pursue this career, path of yours, get that education that you so desire, that degree, whatever it is. You doing it on your own sometimes it's like a dark place, really. But that's why now a teacher comes in, a professor comes in, they show you the way, they guide you, right? But they can only find you in that journey, right? Same thing if you're a patient seeking medical attention. If you go to a doctor, actually, because health issues, sometimes some of the things are unknowns, some are new. Even doctors are always trying to understand based on a particular specific, patient, so they can best prescribe the best medical solution. But now it takes the patient, you fighting, you're part of the, the journey, helping that doctor, that nurse understand your journey, giving them your, like, communicating that way, they're able to help you. I mean, it's, you can go on and go on. There's so many examples. I think it's just, I think that's the journey of life, especially in business. Because you will start off business, you won't have the experience, you won't have the knowledge. And it's not because you don't want to have the knowledge. Forget even about the finances. But running a business itself requires technical know-how. For the most part, these are things that you learn while at it. You journey through, the failures, the lessons you pick along the way. And then, you keep them at the back of your mind, you utilize them, I suppose, for the next, failure and learning, then success, and keep going. So in my thought, I'm like, okay, if you look at life like that bee, believing that there's a pathway, yeah, that business may die, for sure. It should be fair in many ways than one, But what if you don't fail? In any way, anyway, in any event, if you don't keep pushing, if you don't keep fighting, you'll never know. Never know. And hope will find you on the journey. But you cannot be in the journey of success, in the journey of life, in the journey of doing anything that you're doing to succeed, to get in life. You cannot be, you can't be in that journey, with a self-defeat mind, the deficit mind, self-defeat. In fact, if you're new to the channel, you can go back to, there's a video I think I did, an episode that I think was called where you on your protractor journey, where I spoke about a pessimistic mind, an optimistic mind, and the pragmatic mind, right? So balancing reality vis-a-vis. So this bee, I think in this case, was being extremely optimistic. Like, it was at like very, very, bottom, like deep into the optimistic mind. It believed. However, its belief was guided by the fact that it can see. It can see that, in fact, this is, for you, I think, to the bee, this is open space. Why am I not able to move? By and large, this is what happens in the journey of life, especially business. You can take up that particular, business, believing this is it. There's nothing that I cannot get past to accomplish this goal. But it will take determination. That is now that this keeping on hitting that wall. Okay. It will take hard work or smart work, if you want to call it, because it kept, going on and going on and going on. It will take belief, that optimistic, mind. It will take consistency, because it kept on pushing and pushing and pushing. Now, the advantage you would have as a human in this case would be the ability to seek help. Because this bee wasn't trying to get help, because that's, that's an insect, and that's perhaps the world it lives in. Maybe what makes me think it wasn't trying to get help, perhaps it was calling out the other bees, and I just couldn't pick that language, and I'm thinking I'm human, I'm superior, I know so much. But nonetheless, I think for me the lesson is, it will still be the same. You really have to keep, pushing that goal, that vision, that journey, believing that light, a typical example of light, there's light at the end of the tunnel. That was it for me. Like, this bee was seeing light. It just wasn't understanding, why am I not actually getting there? It was actually trying to break the window. So sometimes in life, I believe that based on this Bee Masterclass of mine, there will always be a possibility in every impossibility. In this case, given the bee example, I don't know if it was aware that actually what it was trying to do was impossible, and I can most certainly say it wasn't. It believed that there was a possibility. This window I can penetrate. But in spite the challenges, and despite the hurdles, right, it kept on going and going on and going on, pushing and pushing and pushing. And the possibility came in the form of an angel, me, giving it a hand, and then boom, it went. But if you don't believe that there's a possibility in every impossibility, then it will be so harder. Your journey will be harder. If you don't believe that there's a positive in every negativity, it will be much harder. Because what is it that would get you there if it's not the belief that actually it's possible? What motivates you to stay focused if you don't believe in the positivity, even in the worst of the negativity? And I know it's easier for me to sit here and tell you, but I've experienced it. I've gone through it. That bee taught me a lesson. Right? For me, a very, very, very critical lesson. But even when perhaps you're wishfully thinking, I think the difference between wishful thinking and like belief, like extreme belief, bordering on blind belief, is the fact that if you are in that kind of setup, you're taking action. And this bee wasn't just there sitting, folding its hands. No. So sometimes you could be in a business that you have no knowledge of, kabisa, totally. But you're just journeying, Your vision is to make the Lord known, for example, in my case. But you just don't know how. But what's driving you, what you're seeing behind that translucent window or glass, is the vision. Making the Lord know. You keep hitting glasses. In Nairobi you say kugonga. Kenya you say you keep gongaing. You're gongaing, hitting, gongaing, hitting, gongaing, hitting, gongaing, hitting. But they keep pushing. Because if you don't have that vision, and I think this is actually very important, the difference that you will have is you have to have a vision, a very strong vision. And the vision, like they say, is that thing that you believe in, it's almost impossible for you to achieve. However, you believe it so much so that you're not deterred, right, by the challenges that come in between your push. The belief is so strong that even when it feels and appears and looks impossible, you're still pushing. So I think if you have a very strong vision of what is that you want to do, where you want to be, what you want to achieve, then you keep gongaing that wall, hitting that wall, gongaing. Either the glass will break, or you'll get hope. You might as well, you'll get tired, and you fall off. We bury you, that means the business now. But if you are very focused, you have a very strong vision, you know where you want to be, you just have to keep being consistent. And what looks impossible, there will always be a possibility in that impossibility. And along that journey, there will be so many roadblocks, my friend. There will be so many barriers. But what will set you apart is remaining positive. Seeing a possibility in every negativity. Seeing a positivity in every negativity. You don't have a choice, my friends. You can choose not to try. And fine. So, okay. She just wasn't cut out for that. But too bad. But if you're a winner, you want to be a winner, you have to keep gongaing that wall. Hit that wall. Push. The naysayers will be there. They'll tell you, no, it's not possible. It's this, it's that. Fine. But if you don't have a strong vision, you will give up on the next best failure. Or if your motivation is just to make money, which is fine, but then so what? So, having said that, like sometimes when I just again sit here, have these conversations, I'm always learning as well. things come to mind, and I'm thinking, okay, you know, look, when I was seeing that bee and how it was trying so hard, I felt touched, you know. But I learned a big lesson. That was my Bee Masterclass. It is always possible. Thank you so much, Asante sana, for tuning in. Mungu abariki. God bless you. Mungu abariki Africa. God bless Africa. Kwaheri. Goodbye. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. And I wish you all the best. Richard, in this case, is out.